All right, pre-show shenanigans. Not really much to actually address in the pre-show. Overall, it's probably gonna be a shorter episode, but if you guys haven't seen it already, you can go over to YouTube and check out our latest live stream. Grant and I are starting a new series with the release of College Football 25. Grant and I are letting the Wheel of Fate, a wheel that we spin, decide basically our teams, everything about our teams, and when we do a full series, it will be critical decisions. Winner between me and Grant will get to have a spin at it, which could be wins for the person who spins or losses for the person who also lost the game.
It's going to be an interesting wheel to determine either a punishment or a reward. We still need to come up with some more rewards that are possible enticing to do in game. You can't just add 3 levels to a coach in the game. You can't just boost a player's speed. I wish that was in the game, but you can't. Do that
with the random. We'll have to test.
Maybe
we'll have to test. But the initial stream, the inaugural stream is done.
The punishments we can do.
We'll be streaming more throughout the week, and then as the custom team builder comes out, we'll be migrating from our current stream league to that, and that will become our new official one. But in the meantime, check out what we're currently doing. Grant is Jackson State.
Shout out Jack State. We're putting in work.
I am Hawaii. Grant just lost a narrow game to Louisville. I just beat UCLA on the road in the Rose Bowl. So it'll be a fun time.
Let me put my team gear on real quick. Sorry. I'm new head coach of Jack State. We're taking over Urban Meyer, his return back into the college football world, taking over Jacksonville State. One thing that I will say that I quickly realized playing as Jacksonville State, I love how detailed this game is when it just comes to the little sounds and environment aspects. Everyone can have their own opinion on what the gameplay is like or whatever. But just objectively speaking, having a video game with updated uniforms, stadiums, I'm seeing so many different pictures.
Hawaii does not have a stadium.
Oh,
it's a generic one that they just stuck in there. Yeah.
Yikes. I've just been seeing a lot of NCAA 14 versus college football 25, like stadium comparisons. It is crazy how much better the stadiums look in this game. But from that angle, just touchdown celebrations, the bands playing, hearing fight songs, all these different aspects, which makes college football so unique. It makes the game just feel amazing. It doesn't matter what you necessarily think of the gameplay for now. I'm guessing most people haven't been playing Madden too much over the past decade. So I feel like regardless what you think of the gameplay, it's just refreshing and exciting just to be able to hear my cockle-doodly-doo whenever I score a touchdown at Jacksonville State. Hearing that and the pistols go off like it's Oklahoma State, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell's going on, but I love it already. It's been one half and I already love Jacksonville State. So yeah, this is very exciting. I would say, for me, in the past, like when I just like to do dynasties, I like to, for the most part, play with some teams I at least know a little something about. I'm not a guy who picks like a Kennesaw State. Like it can be fun, but like at some point I want it to be the college football that I watch and just playing teams that I know, just to have some
semblance of reality,
fandom in it. Yeah. Something there. But like, I will just say, like, I don't know when I'll get old of playing as Ohio State. Like I'm so ready for the season. I cannot wait for this year. There are so many changes in college football this year. I know the game's out. I know everyone's talking about that, but just we're actually going to 12-team playoff. Divisions are gone in conferences. Like so many changes are happening in 1 year. I don't even know how that's going to play out. Like honestly, seeing so many different screenshots of different dynasty sims and what the 12-team playoff looks like and all these different sims, it has me thinking like, oh my God, this is going to be a crazy stretch until this 12-team contract expires and we go to 14 or 16 or whatever the hell's next.
14, I think it's 14.
Yeah, but for now we're at 12. 14 next. I guess only 2 buys in that next time, which SEC, Big Ten, you get a bye. So yeah, nice and easy. Everybody wins, and by everybody I mean SEC and the Big Ten. That's what I mean by everybody. So yeah, this is exciting. These are great times. What a pre-show. But thank you everyone checking out the live streams. We're gonna be putting more work in them. But big time stuff going on. Thank you everyone came and checked out.
Yeah, we had about 700 or more people check us out on TikTok stream in total. With I think our peak concurrent viewers was 99 at one point. So
more than I thought.
Way more than I thought was going on either. I know we were sitting around probably about 10 for a while, but statistics say it was 99 at peak time. And yeah, so I mean, we look forward to
anything higher than like 7 concurrent, that gets me excited. So Waterboy faithful, we're gonna be pumping this out for you. But without further ado, into the episode. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Waterboy Podcast. Today is episode 240, and we have some NBA free agency news. Brandon Aiyuk has requested a trade. Everett and I, we're going to be breaking out some running backs today in the NFL, and I want to address some comments that Dabo, Swinney, and Kirby Smart have made recently involving some different aspects of college football.
Not the transfer portal this time? Were they complaining about the portal in usage?
Dabo was not. Kirby was.
I was going to say, was Dabo complaining about people using unrealistic settings for Clemson in the new game? If anybody would get upset about fans using the portal as Clemson in a video game, it would be Dabo.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you remember correctly, last year there was a student reporter at Clemson who asked Dabo Swinney some question where there was some criticism in the question about his approach to the transfer portal, and Dabo just absolutely snapped on this student reporter, saying like, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea how to run a program.
That student reporter now has 3 national titles as Clemson using the portal.
It would not surprise me if Dabo came out and like made a video being like, hey, to all Clemson fans, remember, we're built on God's NIL, God's name, image, and likeness.
I hope that student reporter, now that the game is out, has actually used the portal and won titles and is just sent.
That dude can launch a streaming career.
I hope that dude sends that to Dabo.
That dude can launch a streaming career right now. But yeah, I would say one thing that I thought about, Josh Pay was bringing this up. I think it's a good point. I don't think you'll ever see play calling question more in a college football season than this year with this game out.
100%.
The play calling questioning is about to go through the roof. It's about to be amazing. The amount of people who are just like, I see the joke posts every once in a while. Like, all right, I'll be honest. Ryan Day might be on the hot seat after he wins a natty. Just went 15-0 year one, barely even trying. So if Ryan can't do that, then, or I think it's now, it's now 16-0.
Yeah, because they added that extra. Well, it's 16-0 if you don't make the bye week.
No, if you make the bye week.
No, because because then you don't have to play that additional game, is what I'm saying. Because you have the bye week, right?
So you gotta play 3 though. No, you have an extra game now.
So the most it could be.
If you don't have a bye week, you have to win 4 straight games.
So it's 17-0 is like the max.
Well, in theory, yes.
In theory, that'd be like a G5.
But I don't know if there will be 5 13-0 conference champions at the end of the year. I'm not sure if that will.
Well, I'm just saying it would probably if anybody were to do it, it would have to be a G5 school right now.
Yeah.
It'd have to be. Tulane.
Unfortunately, Notre Dame, their cap is 16-0. They don't have a conference championship game.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Suck. Yes. But yeah, no, I'd say the one lit thing though for Notre Dame fans, you're essentially guaranteed in the playoff every single year. Guaranteed.
Guaranteeing it for Notre Dame is a very big ask of Notre Dame.
Well, like recently, if they just go 10-2, they're in every year, which they've been doing.
Yeah, and they'll get knocked out in the first round. Hey, Tulane beat them 60 to 27.
But
in my
it is just getting in the playoffs kind of all that matters right now.
True. Very true. Very true.
Notre Dame, they got a nice little cake path. Things are looking nice for them. But do you want to stay on topic of college football? Because I got a quick little NBA news, which I think you're gonna love.
Why don't we just quickly? We're already on college football. Why don't we just quickly go over and address that, and then we can
college football. One thing that has really interested me recently. So SEC media days have happened. One little quick thing that I thought was funny: Nick Saban, historic enemy of the rat poison being fed to Alabama players, saying they're going to win the Natty, saying they're going to go undefeated, yada, yada. Nick Saban does not like it when the media talks up his team. He hates that. He wants the media to say they won't win, they can't do it. That's how he motivates his team. And with that in mind, I think it's quite interesting that Nick Saban predicted Georgia to play Texas in the SEC championship game with no Alabama in there. That, to me, is a coach who knows how to motivate his team and his program. And he's doing everything in his power to help Alabama football moving forward. If Nick Saban went out and said Alabama's going to win the SEC, that's rat poison.
Yeah, no, you will not see Nick Saban on his broadcast going forward mentioning Alabama football.
Yeah, I would say one thing I'm very interested in this now analyst, live media personality Nick Saban career path is, I remember that during the draft, Jermaine Burton gets drafted to the Bengals. Nick Saban was not afraid to be honest in his assessment of Jermaine Burton and addressing the character concerns. And he was brutally honest. And he was saying, hey, we know the talent's there. I just hope he can start focusing on football a little bit more. And I feel like Nick Saban, he's going to be brutally honest. Like that is his reputation.
Which is good.
It's amazing for fans. You're not going to hear crazy bias things come out of his mouth. He obviously won't destroy Alabama players.
Which is why him and Bill Belichick's kind of been the same way too. So
yeah,
him and Bill together will be excellent. Yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, it's not often you actually hear a coach criticize one of their former players publicly. You don't hear that all the time.
Or just a player really in general.
Yeah, exactly. Just anyone. You usually don't hear that. And so I think it's going to be very cool seeing this. We'll see how long Belichick. I don't think Belichick's going to coach again, but I know he said he wants to return. I don't think he's going to.
We'll see. After this season, it'll be interesting.
Regardless, as a fan, we win this year getting to hear Saban and Belichick talk. We win.
No, exactly.
Yeah, but that was a little Nick Saban thing I found funny about SEC media days. But here are the other two things. We had some two complainers. I'll start off with Kirby. Kirby Smart called out his old DC, Dan Lanning, and said, I wish Phil Knight would give me some of that NIL money like he is with Dan. Let me start by saying this. There's nothing more ironic than an SEC head football coach complaining about NIL. Kirby,
you want to talk about money.
You're a phenomenal coach. Don't get me wrong. You're phenomenal. Excellent. But let's look back at how you became a top 3 recruiter in the country going to Georgia overnight after leaving Alabama. You could have sold players on the vision. And, I think you did a great job with that, of course. But you can't tell me you didn't have bagmen in that first 2016-17 recruit. You can't tell me you didn't. You can't tell me you didn't.
I got to clarify. You said men. Like, we need to clarify. It wasn't man. No, men.
Hey, there's multiple states in the country. Bagman.
Each of them having
multiple states at the same time.
Multiple states each having multiple men.
Yes.
Like there's at least 3
by
at
city
every there's like at least 3 at every meeting.
And depending on the city, there's multiple. Shit.
Yeah.
The whole South Florida region, there's 15 Georgia bagmen. But that doesn't even pale in comparison to Miami's 80 bagmen in that region. So, there's levels to this shit. But it's quite cute to me hearing Kirby Smart go after his old DC, going after Oregon, calling out Phil Knight NIL in an era where, hey, this is what it is now. Don't hate the player, hate the game. When you've been abusing this system for years to help you get to this stage, I just think it's very fun.
Also, asking for handouts, like Nike, obviously, and Phil Knight, like Nike is headquartered in Oregon, right? Like,
he's an Oregon alumni. We all know Nike, Oregon's been buddy forever. Look at Oregon jerseys, how they get 18 new ones every year compared to everyone else. Duh. Why
asking
would
for
Phil Knight give
handouts in
NIL money to
general
Georgia?
is so like being like, hey,
Yeah,
hey, why don't you who's helping out this school, why don't you come help me out? Like let's like
well,
here,
yeah,
let's
I mean,
just
I don't necessarily think he was calling out Phil Knight saying he should give Georgia
no,
money,
and it
but
was kind of it's kind
he's
of a joke.
addressing, you know,
It's a joke,
the
but
university, his boosters. Nick Saban made similar comments last
no,
year,
yeah,
saying,
but it's
hey,
just
if you see what A&M did, if you want us to maintain our status in recruiting, we're going to need a little more money. That
oh
Nick
yeah,
Saban a
yeah.
couple
I
years
mean,
ago
it's obviously
called
he's
out
not
his
saying
boosters.
directly to Nike, right? He's not.
Yeah, he's more
But
so addressing the state
it's
of
like a joke,
NIL, how
but
it can get out of hand.
it is just interesting to me, like as a general plot point, that like one, he's doing that as an SEC and he's using Oregon as an example, but also the example you would use is the one kind of relationship between school and company that like has been existent forever. Like I don't know. That's just
Yeah, no, I think
interesting
he's
choice there.
objectively calling out just certain schools just have crazy advantages that other teams can't compete with,
Sorry,
which
yeah.
is true.
I
There should
forgot.
be regulations.
Georgia doesn't have any advantage over anybody else, and it's very, very regulated. I forgot.
Well, I would say compared to Oregon, no, they do not have that money.
No,
not close. It isn't fair.
It's still
Georgia still has a massive leg up
one
on
other thing
a
that
majority of teams.
I saw the other day though, which is just interesting. Somebody was talking about just the Ivy League schools, and if the Ivy League schools really wanted to be like D1 or whatever, like they have the biggest endowments and everything that would out of any school that would be in Division 1 athletics. So if they really wanted to put money into their sports and like into football and really care
We're talking
about football,
Harvard, right?
talking like Harvard, we're talking
Yeah.
like Dartmouth, Princeton, whatever, right? If they just were like, all right, screw it, we're gonna start investing in football now, they could become an overnight top program just by investing the money that they innately already have in their school with no NIL. Which is crazy.
Like
it's crazy.
It won't happen because they don't care, but it would be hilarious. Like someone was thinking like, hey, if Bezos and Elon Musk just said screw it, became massive college football fans overnight, like, and they gave a program unlimited NIL funds, how long would it take them to win hope. Don't think very long.
I would think it'd take very long. Hope that Bezos was just like, all right, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna just try something new. I'm gonna give unlimited funds
Arizona State.
Just to some really, really small school and just see how long it takes them to get from point A to B. Just for his amusement.
If they just did like still somewhat reasonable location, I literally think Arizona State is.
We're just, you know what? We're gonna pay Pepperdine. We're gonna pay for Pepperdine to build a whole new football stadium.
Do they have a football team?
No. That's my point. We're just gonna make.
Now that's called a rebuild. That's just called a build. That's not There's no it's just a build.
Just build.
Let's create.
But I'm just saying, if they threw a football stadium on Pepperdine's campus, like that might be the best football
I'm not
venue.
Sure where they'd be able to.
Well, they've got like a giant lawn there. Like that's like kind of like a sake. I don't know, but there's some space, not a lot of space, but there's space somewhere.
Yeah, but
something can get demolished, Grant. Or
I loved hearing that from. Well, we can't ruin the Zoe 101 campus.
Well, I'm not saying the campus part. I'm saying like the apartments. Whatever they can find houses. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But yeah, that was what interested me about Kirby. But those weren't
let's get into
only statements
Dabo.
He made. 12-team playoff. So Kirby had some comments first, and then we'll get into Dabo's. So first, Kirby said, and also I just want to say Ryan Day has also came out and said this too. This a lot of coaches are addressing this problem, but Kirby, and this is him addressing a question about resting players under this new 12-team format, end of the year. And he said, quote, I worry there's a situation where somebody goes, you know what, we'd be better off just not playing our starters and not winning this game so we don't have to go play in that game. He's referring to the conference championship game, but yet we still get in the show. I hope that doesn't happen. That's what he said. That one interested me because with his logic there, he's saying like, you know, I don't want to play extra conference championship game. I can get a longer bye week going into the playoff and I'll be the 5 seed. We get the 12 seed home game. So I don't really care. From that angle, yeah, I get what he's saying. Resting players, but what Dabo said That was also quite interesting. Here, let me get this exactly. Dabo essentially said, damn it, I don't have the quote exactly from Dabo. Dabo said a similar thing on resting players. Dabo was specifically addressing how what has made college football for so long is how important the regular season is. Under 14 playoff and BCS, the regular season kind of was the playoffs. Like you
you had to get down the wire.
Best, at worst, I mean, to get it like in a way, like what kind of makes college football so cool to me is how every week, every game matters. Like if you lose twice, you are out. So that's kind of how the structure's been. The regular season,
which kind of sucks now because I mean, yeah, you could have teams have 4 losses, and if they're in the SEC, they might still make it. Like it's or Big Ten. Like it's kind of, you know, I don't like that. If I'm looking at a team that is making the playoffs, if you are ranked high with like 4 or 5 losses, like that's annoying. Or like if it's the start of the season and it's like 5-3 Oklahoma and they're ranked 9th, like what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't think that like, yeah, I mean, for the most part, like 4 loss teams, I think it'll be tough getting it. The only scenario I could see it is if you're a 4-loss team who lost in the conference championship game. That's the only scenario I could see a 4-loss team getting in. But like just so everybody's quite well aware, Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, if they're at least 9-3, they're in the playoff every single year. Just want to make sure everyone knows that. Accept that right now. Get that out of the way. When that happens sometime over the next 5 years, just accept it, because they will get in over your 11-1.
So
team.
this is what I'm curious
Ohio
about
State
real quick. If we have a situation like FSU last year where Jordan Travis out for the season, whatever, right? Tate Rodemaker is now the starting quarterback. They obviously got bumped out of the playoffs last year to what were they? They were 6th seed. Became 13-0. Yeah, they were 13. Well, now 13-1. Whatever. But their loss was to
the Georgia game.
I think they were undefeated. They were undefeated.
Yeah, they would be a conference championship pick.
But my curious thing is like, would they relegate them to the play-in game essentially because of the injury concerns? Like, I'm just curious how that's going to look.
They would compare them to the G5.
That's what I'm curious.
Most of the time, the Power 5 team with a backup will get that over the G5.
I don't know, at least not with Tate Rodemaker. I'm gonna be honest, but
last year 13-0 Florida State would have gone that by over Liberty every single time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong there, time. but Liberty also didn't really deserve to be there, to be fair. But
yeah,
okay. But what did Dabo have to say?
It was similar to
Kirby,
just saying resting players potentially end of the season. Dabo was more specifically talking about regular season might not be as important moving forward. Something that I've also just thought about though, and this is going off Kirby saying, and Kirby specifically saying rest our starters so we don't need to play in the conference championship game. Kirby specifically like referencing that. He's like, let's skip the conference championship game. We'll still be in the playoff regardless. And I do think Kirby has a slight point here where the 5 seeds got a nice path to the championship. You get 12 seed round 1. Then I think you play the 4 seed next.
Yes.
All right. So you get to beat up on the ACC or Big 12 champ. Nice. Easy. And then you're now in the Final Four. And now the football playoffs begin. Like that 5 seeds. Whew. 5 seeds looking gorgeous.
Yeah, I guess
we're out to the finals as the 5 seeds.
I guess it's going to be interesting if teams intentionally kind of tank so that they don't have to be in the conference championship with the notion that they're going to be in.
What would suck though is being the 5 seed and you lose the conference championship game because you don't get any benefit. You still had to play that game. That would suck.
No, yeah, 100%.
If you get to the conference championship game, you gotta.
Grant, I got a little transition segment here where we can go in any direction really that you want after this. I have a list.
Well, I'm going to try to push it to a certain direction because when I saw this, I know you're gonna love it. So
I have a list of how each of the big U.S. sports make their money. All right, and this is what interests me. because we've always talked about why
Oh, I think I saw this.
certain sports
It's
do
like a little
things
pie
differently.
chart.
Yeah, a little pie chart.
Yeah,
The
I saw
NFL,
that.
no, I'm just going to list the top thing. I don't give a nobody cares about the remaining 4 areas. I'm just going to list the number one way they make their money. NFL, by no surprise, is national TV deals and media. Okay, 66% of their revenue, which, by the way, they make the most revenue by far, $18.7 billion for 2023. The MLB is next. The MLB is second in revenue at 10.9 billion. Majority of their income comes from ticket sales, which is interesting to me, which also makes sense considering I feel like the MLB, we talked about this before, the MLB is more set to be an in-person experience and people go as like an activity more so than like I'm there to like really cheer on my team.
Yeah, and also just when you just think of an MLB franchise, you do have 81 home games.
No, yeah,
you can sell tickets.
A lot,
way more than any other league.
NBA is in third with national TV and media being 41% of their income. Which I feel like if you're gonna be, I would have thought.
Do you know where these numbers are from? Are these from last season?
These are from 2023. Yes, from
so that that NBA is about to go up. The MLB, I believe, in 4 years.
The most interesting thing to me though, the NHL has the highest amount of ticket sales out of all leagues, with 44% of the revenue being ticket sales. I would have thought the MLB would have been highest. The NHL is higher. So just
I think it makes sense with NHL just because their TV deal's so
no,
cheap.
yeah, but it is just interesting to me, like looking at it, okay? The two sports that are more TV centric focused are the NFL and the NBA. The MLB and the NHL are both tickets focused. So it's just cool to think about that and the way that they all handle their deals and business.
I'd say one thing MLB that they don't quite address here, which is going to be a big problem, not for us, but for every other team, not Dodgers or Yankees, where boy, the RSNs, Spectrum Sportsnet and Yes Network, doing fucking great. Everett, Bally Sports, everyone else on other RSNs, not quite the same. And right now, I'm talking about the Padres, talking about the Giants, talking about the Rays. I'm talking about the Orioles. I'm talking about no, not Red Sox. They're chilling. Talking about the Rangers. We're talking about the Astros. Talking about the Mariners, the Twins, the Guardians, the Royals. All of them. They're about to lose. And let me get this right. Local media on average makes up 23% of stadium.
Almost the same amount as national TV.
And now, keeping this in mind, the Dodgers and Yankees have ridiculous RSN deals. I think, Everett, for reference, the Spectrum Sportsnet deal is worth over $2 billion. They're set. So of that 23%, I bet a lot of that, the reason why it's up to 23% is because of the Dodgers and Yankees, how much money they make. But I could bet for most of these poverty franchises, the league average is 23%.
Well, I am curious if
I bet for most of them, that average is probably like 12 to 15%.
I'm curious if they count MLB TV as local TV, because they do broadcast with sports networks and like Bally and stuff. I guess when they stream it. So I don't know.
I think that would be more national revenue for everyone. I don't know though.
I don't know. Don't know.
I'm pretty sure local media is purely from your RSN. So with that in mind, quite interesting times going on. I'm honestly shocked to see how little the NBA local media is. But I guess it makes
very
sense.
Small.
There's so many nationally televised games. And like, I mean, if you're a Laker fan, you don't even need to get Spectrum.
Yeah, no, I mean the Pistons
on national TV. So
the Pistons and Magic making up 13% of the NBA's revenue, I would say, is pretty good for them.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing that is just very interesting is knowing how the NFL makes nearly twice as much as the NBA or MLB, and still with that 66% of their money comes from TV deals. Like, just knowing that, it's every single NFL team is just going to, monetarily wise, looking at them as a financial institution company, they will grow long term. Other big thing, now we're on a subject which, this is good. As of right now in the MLB, NBA, NHL, and MLS, private equity firms are allowed to own up to 30% ownership in all those leagues. As of today, private equity firms are not allowed to invest in NFL teams. There are debates ongoing right now with Roger Goodell and the 32 owners, where Roger Goodell is asking if they can allow 10% of NFL teams to be owned by private equity firms. Nothing's happened yet. Nothing's in place, but it's looking like we're going to move towards that, where NFL teams are allowed to have 10% ownership into private equity groups. I'm interested to see what happens, because European soccer has completely flipped on its head once private equity firms were allowed to invest in them. That whole sports world has completely changed. If college football ever allows it, and I've heard this, there is a private equity company trying to invest in like 10 to 15 athletic departments. I did hear that. Like that is
like
happening.
NIL is
So
it's completely separate. Like that's crazy.
Like we're in a weird transition period now with that ownership. And with the NFL, if it's right now, if they're making twice as much as the next highest league and 66% of your revenue is guaranteed locked in no matter what. Oh yeah. If I'm a PE firm, yeah, I'm looking at the Carolina Panthers right now. Get me in there. Tepper, sell that shit. I know what I could do in Carolina. Literally, they're just looking at it as a cash cow. You're guaranteed profit every year with this contract in place. So, I mean,
yeah, which is also, when you think about it, having it be like, it is crazy to think that if you just buy a team, your revenue is made back almost instantaneously.
Yeah, and also just if you purchase a team, just because the value of the team will go up over time, like you could just resell the team and make all your money back regardless, but you're still going to be making money on top anyway. It's, yeah, get in. Like, but the one concerning thing for fans is that this is a very enticing opportunity if you are working in private equity. And private equity people, their job is to raise the value of the team. And, you know, sometimes wins can help that factor. But objectively speaking, wins and losses don't necessarily influence team value that much. It obviously helps. If you are a dynasty, of course, you're like the Warriors boosted up so unbelievably much. But that was also a big reason for the stadium.
It's a difference. It's a difference in people
and everything.
It's a difference in people seeing it as an investment or as I'm a fan. I want to win a ring. Like I'm going to do everything I can to win a ring, which is it's interesting. Some like firms might see it as both, where they care about quality.
Yeah, the dream is you find a really rich CEO of a private equity company who is a fan. You know, that's the dream. Because I don't know how many of those exist, but that's
if somebody sees it as an investment, obviously they're going to try their best to like make it win, but they just might not care in the end. And that,
but objectively speaking, if they're just going to be profiting so much every year, it won't really matter what the wins and losses are. So
yeah, which kind of sucks, because then you'll run into situations where they're like, hey, we're profiting, we don't need to put any more money.
You're seeing that in European soccer.
Yeah, and then the teams just suck for always.
Yeah. It's, you know, we're entering a interesting transition phase here. And I also just while we're at it, pointing it out, seeing how much national TV media deals matter in this, just know that, well, we'll see what it is long term. But as of right now, Fox and ESPN are pulling the most strings on conference changes, any major sports changes. It's Fox and ESPN who have the biggest say in it because they're paying for the product. So they get to influence it.
Amazon is starting to get there with the NFL.
Yeah.
Though.
Amazon's starting to get in there. Netflix may get in there. We'll see how much they want to do it. Who knows? As of right now, WWE, you know, they're kind of a little side project. But
yeah. So what did you have in the NBA?
So massive news. We have a little free agency topic. We have media free agency, Everett. Shams will allegedly enter free agency in the next 1 to 2 months with Amazon and NBC showing interest. Now, if I have this correct, Shams is currently in his reporting role. I think he's technically signed to The Athletic. But
Yes, he's currently with the Athletic.
I think he's also signed to like not NFL Network. He's signed to somewhere else for like media appearances. I forget.
Oh, no idea. He
Weird,
does
weird
the
shit with
show
Shams.
with what's her name?
Kay Adams, yes.
Yeah.
That's FanDuel, I think. Okay, so he might be FanDuel. I don't know. But Shams will enter free agency in the next 1-2 months. I was thinking if I'm like an Amazon or one of those companies trying to like break into it, I actually think this is like a key free agent acquisition.
It just depends if you care about the NBA like that though.
I think Amazon has said they're now Peacock has like Monday night NBA games now. Very weird. Very weird.
Hey, I'm not gonna slander Peacock. Peacock's actually like a pretty good.
I think Peacock's pretty good.
Pretty good service.
I always like to joke whenever my teams get peacocked. Chargers got peacocked. Ohio State got peacocked last year. I don't like getting peacocked, but objectively
not
speaking,
ideal.
Peacock is a much smoother streaming experience than many other places.
No, yeah, 100% agree. I 100% agree.
I like their interface too. I hate to be that guy, but I like it. Hate to give a streaming service credit, but shit, Peacock's not that bad.
No, go ahead.
No, that was just my
thought. I mean, I think that if somebody's trying to break specifically into the NBA scene, then yeah, go after Shams. But outside of that, like I don't know too much about like what if somebody already has an NBA, fan base, they might be more enticed to get him, but I don't know if he's going to be a ginormous offer for like a small, like an Amazon might not really care or something, or like so now if FanDuel offers him, he will sign instantaneously just to be closer with Kay Adams, but that's an unrelated I guess adventure of his. I do also find it funny that they call him becoming unemployed as being a free agent. So right now a lot of us are free agents in the world. That's how your resume, you don't fill up a gap saying unemployed. Say that you were in free agent season. It was your off season, all right? Like you were in contract negotiations. You're a free agent. So
you were considering all available options.
Yeah, you're weighing everything out. But yeah, I don't know how much more like I don't know if you have another point to make about Shams, but
I just found that quite funny that they announced he's entering free agency.
Yeah, so like we said, it's probably going to be a shorter episode. Let's dive into Brandon Aiyuk a little bit, and we'll wrap up with these running back, this running back stuff that we got. So with Brandon Aiyuk, obviously requested a trade earlier today on Wednesday when we're recording this. This will be going up on Thursday, July 18th for reference. But there's some places. There's a select amount of places where Brandon Aiyuk, we think he can go. And as you guys are used to in our Waterboy way, we have gone through and we have analyzed all of these potential options and why he could, what the selling point is for him going there. So Grant, I know you have all these with listed
some
out.
Sense of financial reasoning.
Yeah, so they obviously they have to have the capabilities of paying him. He's going to need a new contract, and for reference, I think we're going with about 30 mil a year. Whether it's 3 or 4 years.
I'm just gonna assume this. I don't know. I'm gonna assume this. I probably wouldn't trade for Aiyuk, which would have to be a trade. You'd have to give up some stuff. I don't think I would do that trade unless I'm planning to keep him. So let's just assume that.
No, exactly. And so they got to have cap space, and they also need to have a need for him, like an ability for him. So Grant, I don't know how many teams we ended up getting it down to specifically, but you have this list up.
There are, as of right now, there are 8 teams on this list.
So let's go through, just list all 8 teams right now.
Yeah, in no specific order. You have the Patriots, Broncos, Commanders, Chargers, long shot, but please, Raiders, Steelers, Panthers, and Giants. all those teams cap space wise, they can make it work. They can make it happen. But yeah, those are the 4 teams we have. Aiyuk, I don't know what he's going to get. I'm trying to look at other contracts. I don't really know, but we're just going to say around 30 million a year. I don't know if it's going to be 3 or 4.
Could be an Amon Ra-ish kind of contract, maybe an AJ Brown contract. We'll see.
I don't know. I feel like
it's gonna the length of time is gonna decide.
But
the length of time is gonna decide how much he's getting paid in reality. But so let's just start with the quote unquote favorites here, right? So Steelers are a favorite of many people. Obviously, Commanders are a favorite of many people, and recently today specifically, we've heard a lot about the Raiders. So with the Steelers, all right, the arguments for him to be there is that there's no true wide receiver one right now. I know George Pickens is there, but they obviously, no Deontay Johnson. George Pickens could become a wide receiver one, but outside of that, it's just Roman Wilson, right? They're in a new offensive system. They need wide receiver help. They need weapons for Russell Wilson and for Justin Fields. So that's the big pitch. That's the big pitch. And of course, he looks like Mike Tomlin, and they have the money. So, that's the pitch there.
I was taking a quick look online at next team odds for Aiyuk. Right now, the Patriot, and this doesn't include the 49ers, which is interesting because I don't know what their odds are, but they got Patriots as 1 at plus 130, Commanders second plus 165, Pittsburgh next plus 350, and then the next best is Chargers at plus 8,000. So what sports books are telling you is that it's down to Patriots, Commanders, and Steelers.
Which, you know what, I agree. I agree with that notion, to be fair. I mean, looking at the Patriots, all right, Patriots, obviously they're rebuilding the entire team. They have a rookie quarterback. They don't have any certified weapons right now, unless you count Ramondre Stevenson, but their wide receiver room is essentially all rookies besides, I think, KJ Osborne. And, if you're going to bring in a weapon to try and help develop your quarterback, Brandon Aiyuk is that guy. Like, that makes sense to me. They have the money. Brandon Aiyuk can get his money, and it would be helpful for Drake May. And I mean, like, he would basically be getting all the targets. Brandon Aiyuk could be getting all the targets.
Isn't Drake May the... Oh shit. Oh no. I was thinking the other guy. Never mind.
Jacoby?
I thought North Carolina quarterback, and I thought of God, shit. Who was commander quarterback last year? I'm already forgetting.
Sam Howell.
I don't know why you said Drake, man. I instantly thought Sam Howell.
And then, I mean, look, if we look over at the Commanders, which this is my favorite situation, but obviously Jaden Daniels is there. You have the ASU connection. Jaden Daniels has been with Brandon Aiyuk basically this entire offseason. They're redeveloping the team over there. Obviously, they have Terry McLaurin, but outside of him, they really have not had a wide receiver step up. I know they drafted Jahan Dotson. I know, they've had guys, but they've never really had a true either guy to come in and either compete with Terry or to be that Batman and Robin with Terry. So you have him come in, you'll have an instant connection with the quarterback. They have the money. They're rebuilding, rookie quarterback. So fit-wise, that's probably the best. And if you want to talk about just relationship, the next best is probably the Raiders, considering him and Antonio Pierce have a relationship from ASU. The problem there is they obviously have Devontae Adams. They probably have to trade Devontae Adams with that. Now here's the hard part. All right. Chargers, obviously, they don't have a wide receiver, right? They're running 3 wide receivers going into the season with Herbert. So the entire thing is,
that might be,
that's generous.
Might be giving them some credit that they don't deserve.
But the interesting thing is going to be how much it takes to trade for Brandon Aiyuk, because the 49ers have consistently stated that Brandon Aiyuk.
They also kind of did this with Dabo. Right.
Well, I don't know if it was the same, but they basically were like, yeah, no, Brandon is not for sale right now, even though he requested a trade. So it's going to be like, hey, is it going to be a first round pick? Which honestly, I think it might be. They might use the Stephon Diggs trade as a reference. Is it going to be a second rounder? Is it going to be assets? I don't really know. But interesting thing as a general note too, on top of on top of the assets kind of thing, is there's an anomaly in this whole situation in Ricky Pearsall. All right. Ricky Pearsall was drafted in the first round as a wide receiver, which means it kind of made a feeling that, San Francisco might have an inkling that Brandon Aiyuk might not be there for much longer. But in the whole scheme of these negotiations and things going on, Ricky Pearsall now hit the non-football related injury list. So yeah, no, Brandon Aiyuk may have pulled a Tanya Harding and actually like crowbarred his kneecap, but
something I'm thinking about, I have no idea. Like, is there a chance that the Niners are kind of doing what the Dodgers do when our pitchers become shitty and we just put them on the IL? Is there any? I'm wondering from a trade Aiyuk perspective, is there any advantage to putting Pearsall on this list? I don't know. I'm trying to think of some loophole here.
Well, them putting Pearsall on the list only helps Aiyuk, because Aiyuk might be like, look at your replacement that you have for me. Like, he's not doing well, something like that, right? And
Yeah,
teams, from a team other side perspective, like, if I'm trading for Aiyuk, it might make the 49ers want to, trade him even less, because now they're like, oh, we need him. So I don't really know. It doesn't really seem like a win-win for either side. Maybe just for contract negotiations, if Brandon Aiyuk really wants to stay with the 49ers, which doesn't really seem to be. But I mean, Pearsall can be reactivated at any time. He doesn't need to be.
Yeah, with that's why I was interested. Where I was like, huh.
Hopefully, in general, by the way, hopefully it's not like
what is the loophole here?
Hopefully, it's not like an actually significant issue that
we don't know what his injury is.
It could be an injury, it could be a family thing, personal. Like, there's a lot of different things. Hopefully, it's not bad either way, because obviously, there's a lot of thought going into it. But in general, it's gonna be interesting to see where Brandon Aiyuk ends up. Personally, I would love to see him on the Commanders. I would love to see him on the Chargers. Like I said in my TikTok post, please God, just do not send him to the Steelers.
I'd say in terms of like possible options, that would be cool. I'm rooting for Commanders.
Yeah, no, I think that would be fun. Another thing, if they were able to get an actual quarterback, but Neighbors and Brandon Aiyuk together, it would be just so cool to watch.
Like, just objectively speaking, if that was the Giants wide receiver duo, like, yeah, I'm watching Big Blue.
Like that,
I will be tuning in.
They mimight not catch a ball all season because the ball's 60 feet past them, but
but they'll be torching dudes. They'll be burning guys. It would be an experience to watch. I would say, Chargers. I don't think it's gonna happen.
But it would be cool.
I just don't think we're gonna trade
Brandon
for that.
Aiyuk
Like,
would
even
look
if we
nice in the Charger uniform. He would look nice in the Chargers uniform.
He would. He would look nice. I just wonder, we could see, but I don't know if Brandon Aiyuk necessarily. There are so many holes on this Chargers team that.
No, one player's not.
Yeah, Brandon Aiyuk would be a surefire receiver we have, but for the capital we have to give up, I don't know.
I'm gonna be on. Like, let's just say it's a second round pick, maybe like an asset.
Oh yeah, then let's do that right now.
100% would do that.
Yeah, right now.
Even if it's a first round pick, you still need wide receiver help. Like, I wouldn't think too far past that. Like, this is a guy he's certified. You give him a first round pick, you sign him for 4 years. He's gonna be there. He can be your wide receiver 1 or 2 for those 4 seasons, instead of the wide receiver you might just be drafting that might bust for 4 seasons. So I don't know. I would if I was the Chargers and I called up John Lynch and was like, look, we'll give you our first next year for Brandon Aiyuk straight up, and I would say sure. I'd say sure. I'd be okay with giving up that first if I was the Chargers, but that's just me.
All right, I gotta check this again because I don't see why, but the Chargers win total over under is at 8.5. I don't know why the line is at 8.5. I feel
Take
like
the
that's
under.
Easy
Take
under.
The under.
But like, if this team added Brandon Aiyuk, do I think they'd be a solid bet to hit the over 8.5 wins still? No.
I think they hit 8.
Yeah, like, so I'm not sure. Now I understand, it's a long-term wide receiver that'd be here for years. So from that angle, I get it.
It's
But
like
I don't know.
the way that I would approach this the same way the Bears
Maybe
approached
yeah.
DJ Moore. And that's we joked about it a lot when it happened, but I mean, obviously it's worked out for them. And I would be kind of thinking similarly. I mean, the 49ers are not going to be as dumb as the Panthers are. So I mean, it'd be hard to hard to do the same kind of trade where, it's literally there's no way the Bears could lose that trade. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Knowing the way that these situations play out, Brandon Aiyuk is just going to end up staying on the 49ers. He's going to get held hostage. So,
yeah, I honestly, Chargers best case scenario, Brandon Aiyuk stays in San Francisco, does not sign extension, then free agency.
And then he's going to sign with the Commanders. So,
yeah, won't sign with us, but that's like
that's the best
scenario.
option, unless you guys give up a lot. But it's also like that's the thing. Like Brandon Aiyuk, you have to think about it. Let's say Brandon Aiyuk really wants to be a Commander, right? Like he wants to be with his boy Jim Daniels. If he gets traded to any other team right now, they might have him for a year loan. Like that's a risk you might have to take. He might not sign. He might not sign an extension. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but like before you trade for a player, like in this scenario, the Niners like would allow the Chargers like talk about contract situation, right? Or no? I honestly don't. Like I know in the NBA that's fine, but I don't know if the NFL. I have no idea.
I don't know, to be honest. I think the assumption typically is that that they'll just get, you'll get it done. Like that's a part. Like Brandon Aiyuk will be like, yeah, that works, and they'll send it over. But
yeah, like that's what I think. Like before the trade goes through the Chargers front office, I don't think talking to Aiyuk's agent like this.
Well, they're probably talking to the agent, but I don't think the approval of the trade's determined on whether or not they're like, yeah, this works. I think if the 49ers like, yeah, you're giving us a first round pick that works.
No, we'll send it through. From the 49ers side of things,
they'll send it through even if the Chargers are talking to the agent. The agent's like, I'm not signing an extension right now. Like it's just
but I just have no idea.
Probably can talk.
NBA, it's sign and trades are so common.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the episode with this top 10 running back list entering 2024. Grant, we'll see if there's any really conversation that. What we'll preface this with is that this was really hard to do. The running backs.
I don't know how to do this.
The running backs are so miscellaneous. Like for reference, for anybody doing fantasy football this year, if there has been any year where running backs really just do not matter, this is like there's no, everything is the same. Literally after the first three guys,
the most marginal differences.
I would say 1 through 3 is a group, 4 and 5 is a group, 6 and 7 is a group, and 8 to 10 is a group. Like it's just, and then everybody after that's one shot. If they're an RB1, that they're all clumped together. There's like no difference. But yeah, here we go. So to start, there's 2 parts here for 10, where whatever goes up on TikTok will be whatever is the most accurate. But Travis Etienne or James Conner, all right, that's the 10 options. Rest of the list: Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and CMC. So overall, I don't think there's. It's just hard. It was really hard to do.
Third running back, you're just like, well, there's a path for it. Yeah, it's not as clear cut as wide receiver.
Like for the wide receivers, it's very hard for us to see like a year 2 wide receiver be in the top 10. Running backs, we have 2 of them right now. Could have been 3 if we put Kyron. Like so,
I think for running backs, if there is any position where it is okay, it is running back, and like
that.
I think it's fine. I just think though that like, I'm trying to weigh, offensive line resulting in your success.
Yeah, obviously in this you have to weigh.
It's hard.
We're weighing skill a lot, like running backs, pure skill in receiving, running, and blocking, but also like their ability to get yards for yards per carry or whatever is very dependent on their offensive line as well. So we have to take that into account and the scheme into account. Like Saquon Barkley is at 4 here. Obviously, he's a very talented running back, but also he's about to be on the Eagles. So, and they're a very run heavy offense. And that's why he's going to be ranked higher than some other people might have him. And like Nick,
I wasn't even thinking from that. I was thinking more so like Saquon's poor efficiency metrics can be explained by playing in New York.
No, exactly. Well, yeah, that's that's the other side.
I'm not necessarily trying to like boost him up. Now he's going to Eagles better situation, but more so just like you'll see Saquon playing more to his full potential now that he's in an offense where there's not 30 guys in the box every play.
Minus touchdowns.
Well, we'll see if the tush push works without Kelsey. I genuinely think Kelsey played the most critical role in the tush push.
No, that's what they need. They need a short center. Like that's the thing.
Dead ass Kelsey and Landon Dickerson's cut block on that is disgusting.
Crazy.
Like Landon Dickerson makes that happen. Like
he's still there. Unreal. He's still there at least. But
yeah. And Landon Dickerson played center at Alabama. I have no idea. Is he now the center for the Eagles?
Cam Jurgens is now the center, I believe.
Okay. So,
yeah, I can't confirm
I trust him to lead the tush push as the center. I trust him.
Well, we'll see. And when they're practicing,
then they now need a left guard.
They will be practicing it this summer, and they'll see what works the best for them. I'm assuming the best center for the tush push.
I thought it'd be really funny if they put the tush push in college football 25, but they didn't.
Or they're gonna try.
No, they should have called it the bush push. They should, if it was in college football 25 and they named the play the bush push, that would have been the most legendary thing they could have done. Or if a Statue of Liberty, it could only be in the Boise State playbook. That's fine.
I do think
Statue of Liberty should have been in the game.
There's like a non-zero chance the Eagles just decide we're going to use this lineup for every single play for the O-line. But then on the tush push, Cam, you're now playing left guard. Dickerson, get in there at center. We're switching you guys for this.
They're not afraid to just tell you to your face, we're about to run the tush push and you can't stop.
No, they will literally make a O-line specific line. Like, fuck it, bring in the long snapper for the tush push. He can be the center. Like, we're gonna be making a specific lineup. But I mean that's about it for today. We'll probably be streaming throughout the rest of the week. So if you guys are listening to this, and it is still the week of July 18th. Make sure to check us out, and even if it's not, you can check the streams after they're done, or check us out if we're still live and doing something else. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Raise 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. You can follow me and Grant on Twitter at Everett6 and at WaterboyGrant. We post new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube and all podcast platforms. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single episode. We also post on Instagram and on TikTok every week. So make sure to check us out there for exclusive content. With that, Waterboys out.